Right. So this video is about talking about where your real power lies, right? Where your real power exists, right? And your real power actually exists in the 0.01% free will that you have, right? So we live in a world that is largely predestined, right? Meaning your reality is run by something that is higher than you, right? Your reality is actually run by something higher than you, right? Or entities that perceive themselves to be higher than you, right? Now there are entities that perceive themselves to be higher than you, and there is a higher entity than that. So there's an entity higher than the entities that perceive themselves higher than you, right? So you now need to, in order to access your true power, right? You access your true power, you need to contact or connect with the entity that is higher than the entities that think that they are controlling you, right? So you need to contact or connect with spiritually the entity, the one entity, right? The highest entity, right? So you are able to connect with the highest entity because that's where you can access that 0.01% free will, right? You could only access that 0.01% free will if you connect directly, right? Directly to the highest form of energy, right? To the highest energy, right? In that way, you're not being controlled, right? So the title is video I wanted to name standing up on one foot, right? So it's regarding people who drinkers and so on, right? Hey, you are a drinker trying to stop, right? Drinking, you have a little drinking addiction, not even addiction, but a little habitual drinking, whatever. You're trying to stop, right? People who succumb to peer pressure, right? You're going about with a friends, you're lying with a group, right? Or you're lying within a group. Hey, one person buy wrongs, next person buy wrongs, next person buy wrongs, next person buy wrongs. Right? Or you end up drinking 4 beers, right? You end up drinking 4 beers, and you know, hey, but hey, I really want to drink 1 beer, right? I know that, hey, every now and then I can drink a 1 beer, 2 beer, but you end up drinking 4, 5 beer, right? Why? Because you succumb to the powers that controlling you, right? One of them powers is the energy of alcohol, right? People is a spirit of alcohol, spirituous liquor, whatever, the energy of alcohol, right? The energy of alcohol or the spirituous liquor, the spirit of alcohol, right? That's the and that energy the shift through shape shift is called, right? That energy could shape shift through any human being, right? So when you're fighting, like I say, you're not fighting people, right? You are fighting energy forms that are shifting through people in order to control you, right? So to access that 0.01% free will that you have, you need to always be conscious. Consciousness is the key, right? So connecting with the highest power that is. But say no, boy, but hey, I lie in this place. I lie more with 4 people, right? If I lie more with 4 people, but I know that I have the will. I don't have to succumb to no peer pressure, right? Because I know I have the choice. I know that I have decision to say, hey, but I really wanted one of this, right? How come I end up drinking 4? Right? Who could influence me, and why I allow that person to influence me to drink 4 beers when I know I wanted 1 beer? Right? That why I wouldn't be seeing that person a while again. Right? So how come it is, right, that I allow that person? So this is where you need to ask yourself, right? How is it that I allow, right, that person to allow me to drink 4 beers when I know for a fact that I drinking now and then, and when I drinking now and then I drinking 1 or 2, right? So this way you need to ask yourself, right? Say, but hey, but watch now. I drank 2 beers the other day. I say every month I drink a 2 beer, right? How come and why do I allow certain people, right, to manipulate me like that? So this is where it takes, and it's a journey of being conscious, right? It's a journey towards true consciousness, right? Part of the journey, right? So alcohol is one part. Next part is cigarette. Next part is eating meat. Next part is snacks, sweet drink, all them thing, right? So it's a journey that you are on, right? We are on, I am on, right? So consciousness, right? Pattern recognition, right? Recognizing patterns in yourself, right? Recognizing your life history, your life patterns, right? And trying and evolving out of that, right? It's called fighting karma too. You know what's fighting karma, right? Because they gonna tell you, oh, hey, your partner drink 3 beers, boy. So you had a hey, there's where these voices come and telling you because they're pretending that they know how the voices forces out there pretending that they could teach you karma. All they can teach me what karma is, right? Here, them trying to say, hey, Them fellas drink, pay for 3 rounds of beer, so you gotta pay for 3 rounds of beers. Them fellas drink 3 beers, so you gotta drink 3 beers, right? Here what? I only want one beer, right? If I want one beer, right, then I fight and what all you believe karma to be because all you don't know what karma is, right? So there's the aim in this lifetime, right? For people who are conscious and on the consciousness journey, right? This is what it takes. Remembrance, right? Remembrance, right? This is a journey towards consciousness, right? And getting yourself out of this matrix reality, right? Hey, but them fellas buy $2 of food, right? So now I had to go in the shop and buy two sets of food, right? So it is learning to manage yourself enough so that other people won't tell you was your karma, right? Fighting karma, right? That is what it is in this lifetime. Fighting karma. Hey, so you are fighting now the aspect of yourself that succumb to peer pressure, right? You're fighting now the aspect of yourself, right, that succumb to peer pressure or peer influence, right? Or village influence, peer influence, city influence, people influence, right? And that is why a lot of times a journey like this is normally be a solo journey because, hey, a lot of people, right, on this journey, you don't really want to be wrong that thing, but I different, right? I like people, right? I still like people. I like to be by myself, but I still like people. And everybody know me. I like my little social circles here and there, right? So, and I like a little adventure in my life, right? So, I know my journey is because I just can't cut out every single body from my life, so that I had to do, right? So that is why my journey is particularly a little bit more treacherous, a little more harder, right? Than people introverts who could just naturally just cut out everybody, right? For every day of their life because I have difficulty doing that, right? I don't like to do that. So, being in that environment and saying no, right? The ability is a hard thing, right? Being in an environment, right, where these things are happening, right, and you have to say no, right, is a little bit more challenging, but is the challenge is for you and I, right? The challenge is for us, right, who really have no choice but to be in a particular environment and to say no, right? So in an environment where something you want to stop, right? People just keep doing it over and over and over and repeat, right? It's like a on repeat play button, and your job now, my job now, is what to come out of that pressing repeat button because I part of this cycle, right? I always part of this cycle, right? So God will give you a period of time, and this could be the rest of your life, right? Like from now onward, right? That is your goal. Hey, stop pressing the repeat button, right, on certain events and certain patterns, right? So it's not a hey. So hey, my father used to play harmonium, right? So now I had to go and play harmonium, right? That's not what karma is, right? I fight that, right? Because I don't want to do that. I fight that because hey, if it is my father used to play harmonium and sing religious bhajans, right? I fight that. I buy a harmonium that's supposed to be for me. I end up giving it to he because I don't want to learn to play that, right? I don't want to learn to play a musical instrument, right? I fight in that since flipping since BBS since secondary school days or before, right? Hey, if it is your parents' generation doing something, right, and you want to put a stop to it, right? You do not have any obligation, right? You don't have any obligation. Hey, my father, before he started, he's pretty religious, devoted his life to God and thing, right? He did drink massive amount of rum too, right? Went in orchestra, sing, all kind of thing, right? Do I want to do that? No. That is a part of the cycle. I want to stop, right? And God given me the opportunity. God given everybody the opportunity to say, hey, let me use my 0.01% free will to cut the cycle of what my parents did, right? Do I want to be cooking roti chana aloo roti pumpkin bhaji baigan bori, right? The whole array of things just because that my culture, that my parents, my grandmother, my auntie, everybody used to do that, right? I really want to continue that, or is it that I fighting for something in vain, right? Is it that I really like all of that tralala, right? Or is it that I just fighting to keep something, right? Because I try to hold on to a thread of something that I believe to be true, right? And you might believe something to be true or real and it's not, right? So is it that I really want to do this, or is it that I just grasping at straws, right? Trying to hold on to some aspect of the past, right? So there's just some things to ask ourselves. So pattern recognition could be like, is good, bad, neutral, right? You have neutral patterns, right? You have neutral things that you repeatedly do, right? Some of us need to break that cycle, right? Things that is neither beneficial nor harmful. You're just neutral, but you just do it on repeat, right? Sometimes those things, that's like probably like, well, I wouldn't say working or exercise, that is actually beneficial, but it could be considered neutral as well if you just repeat you do routine do it. And sometimes you need to like put a break in between that too, right? And then you start back again. For a short break, you start back again, right? But doing things on repeat, either good or bad, right? You need to like evaluate these things, right? Evaluate, consistently evaluate your own patterns, right? So it's really about, look, lot of fellas be like, hey, I only want to stop smoking, only want to stop smoking, right? But every time I run only Shane wrong cigarette, right? So I'm only young, right? Everybody want to stop smoking, only trying to stop smoking, right? But hey, every single time I run earlier, right, is only cigarette passing, right? So thank God I know one of my pattern that I had a breakout. I thank God I break out that thing since years now, right? I smoke 2 3 times, I like it, right? But all you want to start, you actively want to do something, but every time all around each other, oh, you're sharing around cigarette like if it's water, right? I blow them thing, right? Same thing go for alcohol, them kind of thing, right? So hey, sip on one beer for a while, right? Sometimes some only before one beer could finish, you don't order two rungs, you order a rung again, you order next rung again, you order next rung again, right? Sit down and finish your drink, right? And then see, hey, maybe I rush in this beer. I so hurry and I so in a daze about this alcohol thing, right? Before you beer reach half a beer, you don't take a next round of beer because oh your next friend and always man and you want to play macho and this and that and this and that, right? So A is about knowing yourself and getting back to the root of who you truly are, right? Because I know nothing to make you macho man, this macho man that when you're gonna bar, you see a whole bar, a whole table full of beers and there's only two fellas there, right? And a whole table full of beers. I know no macho man thing besides where your girlfriend, where your wife, some all your girlfriend, wife home. All the thing I think I want my generation and those going forward want to repeat that past that I think for your grandfather, that your grandfather age thing, right? That is thing about all your grandfather. That shouldn't be thing about all your, right? All you repeating them same kind of thing. Hey, but oh, because I want to be free, right? I want to be liberated. I want to be free. I know what freedom is, right? I'm more trapping, right? Energetic trappings, right? And anything else. Energetic trapping is what I call is a trap, right? And it's called, you see some what they call liberation is a trap, right? That is called energetic, capturing your energy, capturing your energy in a bottle, right? Capturing your energy, right? So trying to get out of these cycles, right? Cycles and cycles, right? So this is what this video really is about. Use your 0.01% free will, right? To build and expand your consciousness in the right direction, right? Build and expand your consciousness in the right direction, right? Hey, and that's why I don't care about talents and I'm gonna think no more music intro. A long time I used to feel sad, right? It's not envy, right? I like I tell you, I don't feel jealous or envy about nobody, right? But I like to see my brother playing tabla, I like to see my father playing harmonium and thing. And I still wonder, hey, how come I didn't really like born with one of these talent, but like God never blessed me with one of them talent, right? But God has blessed me with writing, but God cannot take that away from me too, right? But I was like, hey, but to play an instrument would have been nice. But like, how come God didn't bless me with that instrument? Everybody just play the keyboard, right? Play the tabla, do all them things, dance. Even my dancing didn't really last for no kind of time, right? So I was like, but how come? But it wasn't an envious way, right? Is in a way like, how come? Like, why? Right? So I get the answers to all them things I've been asking, right? And sometimes it's just like, hey, talent free and happy, right? Talent free and happy. Even the writing talent I had, God snatched it away from me, right? Talent free and happy, right? Talent free and happy, right? Because why? This is what Allah wants, right? This is what Allah wants, right? Certain times, certain talents Allah will take away from you, right? Because that's the direction He wants you to go in, right? That's the direction. Letting go of certain things, right? Letting go of certain things, right? because all of that also is part of what cultural patterns, right? Cultural patterns that people need to break out of in order to approach the Quran with the right mindset, right? So that's how I want people to think about this, right? This is how the thought process towards approaching this book should be, right? So the book is the ultimate, right? The book is the ultimate, right? So this is how I want people to approach the process, right? Of starting to go into the Quran and them thing. You see all them things that you used to fight up about, right? Fight up about. You used to have a little envy about it. You used to have a little bad feeling in the stomach about, right? Oh, why my family member have this, blessed with that, right? And I not, or why my friend this, my friend that, and hey, I do have that, I wasn't able to build on them talents, right? All them things like you see, you might see a little friend doing something and you might have a little thing in your heart against them, nothing bad, right? But you might have a little kind of feeling about it. Oh, why I could not be something to that effect, right? All them things I am telling people that they need to let go of, right? Let go of those things that they had. Those things are heart diseases, right? The Quran refers to it as heart diseases, right? Heart illnesses and mind illnesses and all that, right? Because the direction Allah wants to push you in is, hey, you're leaving all those things behind, right? Even things like entrepreneurship, right? Even things like cultural things you consider cultural talents, all them things, right? Let go, start letting go of all these things, right? In order to approach the book, right? With a proper and a heart space that Allah wants you to approach or to connect with Him with, right? Because that's really the true goal at the end of the day, right? And a true talent at the end of the day, right? Being able to understand who Allah is to you, right? And what Allah require of you, right? Going forward in time, right? So that's really what this conversation is about. Using that 0.01%, right? Because sometimes all these things that people are trying to predestine you, your family members, right? Other forces, cultural forces. There are so much forces in the universe and in this earth, right? Forces, political forces, cultural forces, right? Trying to say, hey, no, you belong here, you belong here, you belong here, you belong in this country, you belong in that country, you belong in this particular sect, you belong in this particular tribe, right? That is what this whole satanic earth is about, right? It's a satanic earth that we live in, right? And everybody wants to take you, pull you, and say, hey, no, you belong here, you belong with us, you belong with us, you belong with us, right? And Allah is saying, no, you actually don't belong to anybody, right? You don't belong to anybody. You belong to Allah itself, right? And you are actually loved and cared for exactly as you are, right? You don't need to have no big set of talent to worship Allah. And that's the one thing that I really like about this religion. Hey, you don't have to have no talent to please Allah, right? You don't have to have no big set of nothing. Like I say, it's the simplest religion, right? Simplest way of life, right? All you have to do is approach Allah with a clean heart, right? And that's done, right? And that's a hard thing to do, and that's why this part is actually difficult, because approaching Allah with a clean heart is actually a difficult thing to do. But that is all that He actually requires of you, right? So that's just this conversation thing, right? Consciousness, approaching the book, right, with purity, will measure, when I say purity, cleanliness of heart, right? Approaching the book with cleanliness of heart, right? And this have to do a lot with recognizing your patterns and so on, right? Recognizing your patterns and saying, hey, I used to think this XYZ, right, about certain environments, certain spaces. I used to like breaking patterns and how you used to think, right? Breaking patterns and how you used to think, right? That's what it is about, right? So have a blessed evening, everybody. All you know, I just make videos as thoughts come to my mind. I just put it out there, right? As thoughts come to my mind, I just put it out there. That's how I'm making my videos now. That's why I have like several videos a day, right? Because I just pumping out these conversations as it come to my mind, right? I'm not keeping anything inside of me. I just letting it flow, right? So have a blessed evening, everybody.